everyone, this is Camlin Bappy, aka the Blue Mermaid, welcoming you to another episode of You've Got to Meet Clive Oseman. And today we're casting from the amazing Governor's Island in New York City. Woo! Of course, don't be confused. Clive Oseman flew all the way, swam across the seas, from across the English Channel, over here from the UK to New York. So we welcome you here and so excited that we finally share this
And it's your first time in America, right?
It is my first time.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. And I'll tell you what, I did swim the English Channel and I found I was going the wrong way. It was terrible.
So, how did you get started in spoken word and poetry, your love for words, and also the discovery that you can make people laugh?
Well, I've been writing poetry since about 2003, 2004. Like so many other people, I started writing poetry in very difficult times personally, and wasn't particularly good, but it served a purpose. And then I met Nick Lovell, who is my co-host of the events I run under the UB Hive banner, quite by chance. Basically through a friend of a Facebook, well, not a Facebook friend, a friend of an internet friend. And started going to poetry events, mainly in the Bristol area, because that's pretty close to Swindon. And it was very good, but it wasn't what I was particularly good at. I don't think I would have lasted long. But then I went to a Hammer and Tongue event, which is a slam, and then they had a headliner called Luke Wright. And I was absolutely blown away by the talent in the slam, and then by Luke's performance as well. And that night literally changed my life, because I sat there and I'm thinking, this is what I want to do. You know, this is it. You know, and I started travelling all over the place to go to different spoken word events, and had a lot to learn. But gradually I started getting a few features and headlines, and then of course came Zoom, and did a lot of experimenting on Zoom, and I've become now somebody. I've always been very shy. I knew I had a sense of humour and I could think of funny things, but I hadn't got the courage to do. I would always think people would laugh at me rather than with me. You know, so I used to think things but not say them. And really the spoken word scene and the encouragement of people there sort of encouraged me to think, actually, this could work. You know, and so, yeah, as I say, that night in particular with Luke Wright, it changed my life.
It was a pivotal point, crossroads for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, that's wonderful. You are one of our mainstays in Between the Lines, our show at QBW. And, you know, I would love, first of all, I want to thank you for trusting our community and bringing some of the most heartfelt raw material that I've ever heard you perform. I remember being a part of the Zoom community first, and I noticed you playing the Queen, doing the Queen speech the first year, and then I'm like, oh, it must be a regular thing. So the last year I said, so when's the Queen speech coming out from you? Can you tell us about what really happened there?
Yeah, well, I mean, the first year of lockdown, you know, with the pandemic and everything, I did a parody Queen speech, which went down quite well, but it was a one-off. And then I didn't intend to do it the second year, and eventually encouragement from people like yourself saying I should do it, I did, and so I did my second Queen's Christmas Day speech, which was a bit outrageous, but it was fun. I've been impersonating the Queen for a while, and I do say so. I mean, I'm not a royalist, as anybody who's seen me would know. You know, I'm really not. Nothing against any of the individuals personally, but the institution itself stinks, in my opinion. And you know, so yeah, I've had fun with it.
Well, I am so glad that you bring such a wide range of emotions when you perform. And tomorrow night, you're going to be featuring today in Governor's Island, but tomorrow you'll be also featuring in East Village at 5C Cafe and Cultural Center. So now, if there's a young person who's interested in poetry, your style, someone that is interested in making people laugh or tell stories like you do, what is a recommendation you have for them?
Just go for it. The philosophy I've got now, and I know my sense of humour is a little bit dead, unconventional and sometimes a bit surreal and crazy, but I've got the philosophy now that if I think it's funny, somebody else will. And the number of times I've written stuff and I'm thinking nobody else is going to laugh at this, and at first I was just putting it to one side and not doing it, and there's a couple of people who I've trusted for a long time to sort of look through my material and say that will work or that won't work, and it was a sign that my confidence was growing when I did a piece. The two people who I'm going to mention were Nick Lovell, who I've mentioned already as my co-host in some events, and Chloe Jacquet, who's a British-based poet. And they would always give me honest but diplomatic feedback because they know that I'm very easily discouraged. And then I did one piece which was really, really crazy and sent it, and I both got the same reaction from both of them. It was like, they didn't know what to say, and I mean Nick was like, I don't think it'll work, but I was convinced that I knew if I saw somebody else do that I would be in stitches, so I thought I'm going to do it. And once they saw it performed rather than on the page, they realised where I was coming from.
Yes.
Because it involved changing letters and blowing raspberries where certain letters should be, and it just didn't work on the
because
page.
It was meant to be performed.
Yeah.
Exactly. And in fact, I think that it was recorded somewhere, and I played it for some of my family members, and they were in stitches.
Good.
They were dying laughing. It's like, that's fucking brilliant. Only that one poet can do it, whatever his name is. Clive Oseman.
Pronounced Oseman.
Oseman.
Because I'm posh.
Put marbles in your mouth. Clive Oseman. Clive Oseman. All right. So it's just an improv or something. Can you give a sample of the type of work you do?
Improv.
Or do you have something that you have put together that you like to show off?
I have to read. My memory is shocking.
Oh no, actually I can understand that totally because my memory's shot too.
Yeah.
Yes. So between the two of us, well, you know what? When we put this episode up, we'll also put a performance clip of Clive Oseman. Now, you're talking to the world, you know that, with Q's Blue World. Please, what if you have two sentences that you would like, two ideas that you would like to communicate to our audience, what would you communicate to them?
Enjoy what you do and have faith in what you do as well, because that is important, because it's something I didn't have for a long time, and the last 4 or 5 years have been the best years of my life, really, because of the community I've found and the support I've got and the friends I've made, all because eventually I decided that I've got nothing to lose by doing it.
Do you have a question for me, the mermaid?
I'm hopeless at thinking things off the top of my head. How long have you been hosting events?
Hosting events has only been less than a year, because but before that I did a few events as well. But I'm an old retired actor. I toured full time from 1990 to 1998. So the theatre was a very real part of my life, day in, day out, professionally. And but hosting was always a very natural thing, because once Zoom came around, I've always facilitated classes. I'm a teacher, so it was it's just talking to a bunch of my kids. just a little bit wacky and crazier.
Best way to be.
Yeah, but I love being a host because I enjoy hearing the stories that other people tell.
Yeah.
And telling your story is an honor, Clive. And I'm so glad that QBW has you on our stage. So,
Thank you.
All right, one last shot. This is Kemlyn Bappy, the Blue Mermaid, signing off from Governor's Island, New York. Take care, everyone. Catch us.